Good morning, everybody. It's September 29th. We're just getting ready for our Orlando overnight trip. It's about 3:51. I'm almost done packing, so everything should be good. So I just have to pack everything up, put the stuff in the car, go over to the office, wait for everybody at 6, and we should be good. Well, it's about 5:45 a.m., so I'm going to head down to the office so we can get ready for this event.
I'll bring a bag of almonds for this. So I don't see the whole there. Thought I brought more.
10 minutes.
Alright.
So, I know I saw the Disney World exit sign.
Me too. My wallet is there. There.
One more food.
That one.
Exit right to exit 251, State Route 417 North, Orlando International Airport, San Francisco.
John.
It'll be Evel Knievel, except we can't jump it. We'll crash spectacularly.
We'll nosedive right off of it.
Exactly.
Hey, we'll make America's Funniest Home Videos.
I used to
You'll
when
just
I
have,
was when
Mike
I
will
was
be recording and all of a sudden it's just gonna go dark.
It's like,
when I was a kid. I used to watch that show.
yeah, remember when Bob Saget was on it?
Cash toll 50 cents. Shit.
Something happened like that to me in Connecticut. I didn't have $1.
No. Why?
You have to get close.
Yeah, Christina, like when you do your eyeliner, you have where your eyelashes are and where your eyelid are. Your eyeliner leaves a gap of like your skin color in between the eyeliner and your lashes. And
Yeah,
it
that's
has-
what I used
So
to
when
do.
you
I
do
tried
it,
to.
you go
but it
I
has
tried
to
to
be-
put it.
And we're far enough.
Take out your camera.
And I'll let everybody else go around. Got it? Okay, make sure you get the Where the Dreams Come True.
Yeah, I've got
Who
it.
becomes a millionaire today? You have to share.
You got it?
Sunday Sun Warden, as we say here in Harambe, Twende. That means let's go! Ciao everyone, my name is Caitlin. I'll be your safari guide today. Now friends, I have a very important reminder before we enter the reserve. For your safety, you'll want to make sure that you stay seated at all times, and here's why. We are not on a track. I am really driving this truck, and we're going to travel through some very bumpy, unpaved roads today. So friends, for your safety, make sure you stay seated at all times, and please make sure little ones are safely seated on your lap or beside you as well. And in case you are wondering, I do have a mirror. I can see all back there. So my friends in the back, no more musical chairs. These are your seats for the next 2 weeks, or 20 minutes, whichever one comes first. Now friends, for your safety, make sure you are staying seated, but for the safety and comfort of the animals, make sure you keep your hands inside the truck and keep your voices quiet. The animals here are real animals, no animatronics here, and they will get spooked by loud noises, so come close and be nice and visible. Well friends, welcome to the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Harambe is a Swahili phrase that means to come together. This reserve is our chance to come together with our animal friends and learn more about them in their natural habitats. The first place we'll visit today is the Little Ituri Forest. The animals here are naturally camouflaged and very shy, so we'll want to look for them carefully. The animals in the forest will use their camouflage patterns to hide from predators. Now you might see to your right, there's an okapi hiding over there. You might think the okapi is in the zebra family because of the stripes on their legs, but they're really in the giraffe family. The okapi is the last living relative of the giraffe.
It's a red giraffe.
They're so well hidden they were unknown to Western civilizations until 1901. A mother okapi will use a kind of sonar in order to communicate with her calves. Coming up on our left, we'll keep our eyes out for the black rhino. Black rhinos can grow to be about 3,000 pounds and charge at a speed of 35 miles per hour. They can run so fast they can gallop like a horse does with all 4 feet off the ground at once. But the black rhino is becoming harder to find because they are poached for their horns. A lot of cultures believe that rhino horns have medicinal properties, but that's never been proven. In reality, rhino horns are made out of keratin. That's the same stuff your fingernails are made out of. Because of poaching, there's only about 5,000 black rhinos left. On our left, you might be able to spot a herd of copper-colored animals with white stripes. These are called the bongo. The bongo are so reclusive, they're known as the ghost of the forest. Their horns tilt backwards, and that's on purpose. If a bongo is startled by a predator, they can dive into the thick underbrush. And because their horns are angled backwards, they won't get tangled up. There are 2 kinds of bongo, the lowland and the mountain. Here on the reserve, our friends with the critically endangered mountain bongo. We are now, and we're going to head towards the Safi River. Now, in the river, one of the animals we'll look for today is the hippo. But even though hippos are very large, about 5,500 pounds, they can often be surprisingly hard to see. That's because typically hippos prefer to stay in the water. If they stay in the water, that keeps them cooler, and that will keep them from getting sunburned. Hippos can stay underwater for up to 8 minutes at a time before they need to come back up and catch their breath. We might spot some hippos in the water to our right, usually a pretty good look on our left-hand side as well. If a hippo stays out of the water for too long, their skin will start to produce a red secretion that acts like a natural sunscreen. And sure enough, we can see a bloat of hippos to our left. Now friends, we want to refrain from whistling around the wild animals. We don't want to hoot, holler, scream, shout, and make noises to call them closer to us. The animals on the reserve are wild, undomesticated animals. They're not like your pet cats and dogs at home. We're just here to visit, observe, and learn more about them. For instance, hippos don't swim. They just float. They move through the water by pushing themselves off at the bottom of the river. The hippos here in the Safi River are the Nile hippopotamus. These white birds to our left are called the pink-backed pelicans. They get their name because their backs will turn pink during mating season. Both males and females will sit on their nests, and their eggs will incubate for about 30 days at a time. The pink-backed pelicans are unique because they will work together to herd fish into a central location. Now on our left, we can see several hippos out of the water, including a baby hippo. A little one around this size, probably around 7 to 8 months old. A newborn baby. Now that's really cool. So hippos make a noise called a wheeze honk. That's what we just heard. But they typically wait until nightfall to make that noise. Each wheeze honk is unique to each individual hippo. That's so they can call back and forth to each other across the river. On our left, we'll keep our eyes out for the crocodiles. The Nile crocodile is the largest crocodilian. They can grow to be about 16 to 20 feet in length. Crocodiles are opportunistic feeders. Rather than being strictly an herbivore or a carnivore, they will just eat whatever shows up in front of them. If you've ever wondered how you can tell apart a crocodile from an alligator, a crocodile's snout is longer and more pointed. The alligator's snout is shorter and more rounded. Crocodiles will hold their eggs between their jaws and gently roll them back and forth. That will encourage those eggs to hatch sooner. We are now moving away from the river and away from the forest, and we're going to head towards the savannah. The savannah is the ecosystem that most folks associate with Africa, but as you can see already, the continent is home to a wide variety of ecosystems. One of the animals we'll look for on the savannah today are the giraffes. We'll see them better as we continue traveling, and they will be very easy to find as we get closer because, well, giraffes are the tallest kind of animal in the world. There are 9 different species of giraffe worldwide, but here on the reserve, our friends are the Maasai giraffe. One of the easiest ways to identify them is by the patterns on their hides. The Maasai giraffe have a very splotchy and lacy-looking pattern. We can spot giraffes in the distance. We'll see them better as we continue traveling. And there's a couple of giraffes coming up to our right. A group of giraffes is called a tower. Giraffes usually move at a rather leisurely pace, just like our friends are demonstrating, but if need be, they can run as fast as 30 miles an hour. A giraffe's heart weighs about 25 pounds, and it's about 2 feet in length, roughly a little bit larger than a basketball. They need really powerful hearts to pump blood through their long circulatory systems. Giraffes have the highest blood pressure of any mammal. A giraffe's neck has the same number of vertebrae as a human's. Their vertebrae are just much, much larger than ours. Now we'll look for more giraffes in just a moment, but coming up on our left, we'll keep our eyes out for the African wild dogs. They're sometimes called the African painted dogs, and it makes sense how they get that nickname. It looks like their coats have been painted with a paintbrush. Each pattern on their coats is unique, and that's how they can tell each other apart, even at a great distance. The wild dogs are very efficient hunters because of their ability to communicate together as a pack. You might think that an animal called the wild dog would have a really ferocious sounding bark, but they sound more like squeaky toys. It's pretty cute. The African wild dog is critically endangered, and they're not related to the hyena at all. Hyenas aren't even in the canine family. The biggest difference in their classification comes from the number of toes that they have. The hyena is more closely related to a weasel than a dog. On our left, we'll see the sable antelopes. They get their name from the deep reddish-brown color of their hide. Their horns will grow to be about 36 inches in length, and they'll use them for self-defense. The male sable antelopes make the decisions about where the herd will travel, but it's the female sable antelopes that act as the GPS and guide the herd to their next location. The sable antelope is the symbol of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, and they were chosen to become our symbol because they are very, very brave. If a predator comes by, the sables will gather the herd with the babies in the middle and then fight back against that predator. Coming up on our right, we'll see more giraffes. And friends, today is our lucky day because we're going to see a baby giraffe. Judging by her size, this little one is probably around 2 to 3 months old. A newborn giraffe is around 5 to 6 feet tall, and they weigh around 125 pounds. They're born hind legs first. A newborn giraffe has a 6-foot drop to the ground, but that baby can be mobile about an hour after being born. That way, if a predator comes by, that baby can be on the move. A giraffe's horns are called ossicones. On a newborn giraffe, those ossicones are made out of cartilage, and they lie flat against baby's head to make birthing a little bit easier for mama. Once the baby starts to grow, those ossicones will stand up straight and solidify into bone. But in the meantime, they're covered in a fuzzy pom-pom that keeps the cartilage safe until baby gets a little bit tougher. Giraffes have prehensile tongues. That means their tongues are very long, very strong, and very flexible. They'll use their prehensile tongues to pull vegetation down from the trees. Giraffes are herbivores, so their diets are entirely plant-based. A giraffe's tongue is also a very unusual purplish blue color. That helps prevent their tongues from getting sunburned. There's that prehensile tongue in action on our left. Coming up on our right, we'll see 2 different species of animal. We'll see a herd of gray animals with short curved horns. These are called the white-bearded wildebeest. They're also called a gnu after the sounds they make. That's spelled G-N-U. In the wild, the wildebeest will live in very large herds, about 1 million to 1.5 million. The name wildebeest is a direct translation of the Afrikaans words for wild beast. And those large brown and white animals to our right are called the Nkoli cattle. They're also called the Watusi cattle, after the Watusi tribe that first domesticated them. Those horns are about 5 to 6 feet in length, but they are surprisingly lightweight. Giraffes typically sleep about 30 minutes a day, but even though they don't sleep all at one time, they'll take little 5 and 10 minute naps throughout the day. That will eventually total about 30 minutes worth of sleep. Giraffes will typically sleep sitting up or standing up. That allows them to be on the move faster in case a predator comes by while they're sleeping. The Latin name for giraffe translates to camel in a leopard coat. Coming up on our right, we'll look for a couple of male elephants. When a male elephant reaches maturity, he will separate from his herd and live the life of a bachelor on his own. But he will periodically revisit his herd, and he'll also spend time with other bachelor elephants. Those bachelor herds can up to 144 males at one time, and a male is considered mature once he's around 13 to 15 years old. So they're on our right, and on our left we'll keep our eyes out for the mandrills. Mandrills are the largest kind of monkey. They live in very large packs of about 100, but they can be very shy. Mandrills have a very distinct red and blue coloring to their faces and their bottoms, so the alpha males, usually whichever male mandrill has the most vivid coloring. We have spotted a baby mandrill out here on occasion, but Mama's keeping her newborn very close. Baby mandrills will hold on to Mom by wrapping their arms around her neck and stomach. That way Mama can still walk, but it's a bonding activity for mother and child. It's female elephants, as well as elephants that are too young to be out on their own quite yet. Never mind. Row close. Well, there's the 2 dudes to our right. You can see they toss some dust and dirt onto their backs. That's normal. That's what elephants use as sunscreen. Now, I could try to jump my 40-foot-long Ford 650 across that ravine, but that somehow seems like a really bad idea, so we're not going to do that. We'll just try this path instead. Looks pretty clear. And there are some deep grooves carved into that clay. That's because elephants will dig their tusks into that clay and then ingest it. It has minerals that are good for their diets. Elephants live in a matriarchal society. That basically means whatever Mama says goes. You can tell African and Indian elephants apart by the shapes of their ears. African elephants have larger ears that are shaped like the continent of Africa. Those larger ears allow for better blood circulation since they hold more blood vessels, and that keeps them a lot cooler. That's also why they will gently flap their ears back and forth. Elephants are the largest kind of land mammal, and because of that they have one of the longest gestation periods of any animal. When a mother elephant is expecting her baby, she has to wait 22 months for that baby to be born. She's pregnant for almost 2 years. It's a good thing baby elephants are super cute. Baby elephants will suck on their trunks just like human kids will suck on their thumbs. Researchers have determined that when elephants look at us, they see us the way we think of puppies. They think we're cute. Elephants have very strong and flexible trunks. They'll use their trunks to lift and carry heavy objects as well as transport food and water from a source right to their mouths. They don't suck water directly through their trunk like a straw. That would be like us trying to drink water through our noses. But their trunks do hold around 5 gallons of water at a time. Now in Kenya, farmers were having a lot of trouble with elephants getting into their crops. They wanted to find a way to protect their livelihood without harming the elephants. Researchers discovered that elephants are afraid of bees, so the farmers started to install beehives into their fences. That way the elephants would stay away and stay unharmed, and the farmers didn't have to worry about their crops. Once they get to be about a year or so old, they'll start to turn pink from the beta-carotene in their diet. They eat a lot of shellfish. The greater flamingo is the palest pink variety of the flamingo. You can see they're coloring the best when they open their wings. They're called the greater because they are the tallest variety of flamingo. Scientists aren't entirely sure why flamingos like to stand on one leg. There's a couple different theories, but no one really knows for sure which one is the correct answer. Both male and female mistranslation. The Afrikaans name for them is the white rhino. White meaning wide. That's because the white rhino has a very wide lower jaw. That's different from the black rhino, who has a very pointed jaw and a pointed upper lip. The differences in their jaw shapes will affect their diets. Black rhinos use their pointed jaws to pluck food off of trees and branches. The white rhino uses their wide lower jaw in order to graze. So there's a white rhino to our right on the top of the hill and one close to the road. We're going to travel poli, that's Swahili for slowly. You'll always let the 5,000-pound apex predators have the right of way. Now friends, we don't want to scare the 5,000 pound. Warthogs are the largest kind of burrowing animal in Africa, and a group of warthogs is called a sounder. Warthogs use the short curved tusks in front of their snouts in order to root around for their food and dig their tunnels. They're very territorial. They'll fight off any other animals that try to enter their tunnels without permission. On our right, we'll keep our eyes out for several zebras. A group of zebras is called a zeal. Here on the reserve, our friends are the Grant's zebras, also known as the Plains zebras, and they're black with white stripes. We can tell because they have black noses. Each zebra stripe pattern is unique, just like a human's thumbprint. We can see a clutch of ostrich eggs to our right. Looks like we'll see some ostriches coming up to our right-hand side as well. Ostriches are around 6 feet tall and 150 pounds and fully grown. They are completely flightless, and they do run very fast, typically around 40 miles an hour. Both the ostrich and the zebra use their strong kicks as their main defense against predators. A kick from a zebra is strong enough to break a lion's jaw, but a kick from an ostrich is strong enough to kill a fully grown human. These are all female ostriches. We can tell because of the color of their feathers. They are pale gray. A male ostrich has very dark feathers. Ostriches are very good parents. When a female has laid her eggs, the other females in the flock will help out by taking turns sitting on those eggs until they hatch. It typically will take about 18 days. Ostriches are very intelligent birds, even though their eyes are larger than their brains. Maybe that's where I get the term bird brain from. Coming up on our left, we'll look for a white animal with long, thin, curved horns. He's very well hidden. This animal is called the scimitar horned oryx. They get their name because their horns curve like the ancient weapon, the scimitar. Those horns are their main defense against predators. If a lion should leap onto the oryx's back, the first thing they'll encounter are those sharp horns, but they are fragile and they can crack. The oryx is typically found in the desert. That's because they can go up to 9 months without drinking any water. They get most of their hydration from the moisture in the plants that they eat. On our right, we'll see a pair of white birds with black markings. These are the yellow-billed storks. They're carnivorous, so they'll eat fish and frogs and sometimes smaller birds. They have a very impressive wingspan for birds of their size. It's about 5 to 6 feet wide when fully extended. And they are very social birds. They'll spend time with other yellow-billed storks and other species that might be in their vicinity. There's one more look at the oryx to our left. At one point, the oryx was considered to be extinct in the wild, but good news, because of conservation efforts and several zoos, a herd of oryx were recently released back into the deserts of Africa. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed our time on our safari today. Hope you got to see some favorite animals, meet some new friends, learn some new facts. If you'd like to learn even more about the 23 species of animal that call this reserve home, you can always visit DisneyAnimals.com to find out more. But while you're here in Animal Kingdom, your adventures don't have to end already. If you'd like to see more animals, a great place to visit is the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. It's a 15 to 20 minute self-guided walking trail. You can see reptiles and amphibians. You can see naked mole rats if you're a fan of Kim Possible. You can see meerkats and another variety of the zebra called the Grebbe's zebra. And you can also probably see some gorillas. Another great place to visit is Rafiki's Planet Watch. Trains to Planet Watch will run until 4:30 today, so I recommend visiting there sooner rather than later.
Vai pegar passeio? life. You got to just go with the flow. Get ready.